Hey, Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media, Governor Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People. Here today, hump day, middle of the week. We are halfway, just about to the first home game for the Carolina Panthers against the Los Angeles Chargers. And if you wonder why there's a little bit of delay, why I always see me look up at the beginning of the videos, it's because I have to look at my monitor to know when I'm live to then start speaking. So there's always that little half-second delay. But nevertheless, Man of the People, continuing to do what I do, which is keep you up to date on all the latest news regarding this Carolina Panthers team, as well as taking your questions. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Let's go over some of the transactions that have taken place. Talked about this one yesterday. The Carolina Panthers have signed outside linebacker Charles Harris to the active roster. They have signed tight end Felipe Franks to the practice squad. Now, both of those names should be familiar, as I talked about Charles yesterday. So they were just waiting for some things to happen to get him in week 2, which deals with the guarantee of the salary. But nevertheless, Charles comes to us after kind of being unemployed for a while. He previously worked under Todd Wash, which is currently the Carolina Panthers defensive line coach. And one thing that could explain why he was available was in his past 2 years, he was limited to just 2.5 sacks over those past 2 years. So he didn't sign with anybody in the offseason, OTAs, training camp, and now he's here reunited with his coach Todd Wash on the defensive line, hoping to get some production out of him. And then Felipe Franks, practice squad guy, he's been with the Panthers several times this year, and he is now back with the practice squad. And the second thing we're going to get you up to date with are the injuries. We do have a bigger list of injuries this week than we had last week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show these injuries. We got punter Johnny Hecker, who's dealing with the back. He did not practice today. Doesn't know exactly when it happened, but says it was probably on that punt that went a little long and he got knocked down. Man, I forget what part of the game that was. I feel like that was the later part, second half of the game, that Johnny got knocked over on that play. Outside linebacker, I know. You want to go there, right? You want to go there and think, man, here we go. But outside linebacker Jadeveon Clowney dealing with the ankle. He did not practice. Now, of course, they're going to be slow with Jadeveon because they've been like that during the training camp and OTAs, taking it slow, not putting too much mileage on the body that already has a lot of miles on it. So not surprising with that ankle that they decided to hold him out today so they can have him as close to 100% this Sunday as possible. Offensive tackle Robert Hunt with a shoulder. He was limited in practice today. We also then had guard Damian Lewis dealing with a groin. He was limited in practice. Offensive tackle Yosh Nijman, limited in practice today with a tibia. And then we have tight end tight end I can't say his name today, Tommy Tremble with a hamstring back. He was limited in practice today. So that is some progress for my man Tommy Tremble. Sorry, I stumbled over your name. I can't talk about Tommy Tremble today, but he's back. Did not practice. Was he going to go in IR or not? But he's back practicing, so that is a positive sign for Tommy to be getting out on that football field sooner than later. And about Johnny Hecker, our punter, not yet looking for a new punter to come in and do tryouts, but they're just going to closely monitor how Johnny does this week. And if they say, hey, it looks like a little bit of soreness, they already got their list lined up. Hey, these are the guys we may be calling in here. They'll just call them up, have them fly in, and get those guys a workout. Not a lot to take away from Dave Canales speaking with the media today, other than the good old coaches saying, hey, I'm not going to say too much because I know they're walking. He said several times today that he's not going to get into the scheme of things because he knows the Chargers are watching. And, there's ways to dance around that question, but I get it. I want to see changes from Dave Canales from week 1 to week 2, considering what happened last week. And if he's now going to go the route of, let me be very careful in what I say because I really want to make sure that we get a better performance this week, then I'm all for it. I'm all for seeing how Dave Canales responds after that 47-10 butt kicking that he had last week. And we all got to wonder, right? After that butt kicking from last week, well, you got to wonder. You got to wonder what him and the owner, David Tepper, may be talking about. So I'm going to play this clip. He was asked just that today about that. So give me a second. Let me make sure I can get this where I want it to be. I think we are. So here we go.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked to him, and of course, these are people that I want to make proud of what we're doing here and what we're building. So it means a lot to me to make sure that I connect with him, to connect with Nicole, to be able to talk about just the state of our organization, the state of the just kind of like following up on games. I look forward to that process, so we had some good times to connect after the games. Those are private conversations, that I'll keep to myself. But, a lot of support. Happy birthday, by the way, David. Hope you're having a great time with the family.
So that was Dave Canales revealing that he has talked with David Tepper, but not revealing much at all. Something that I wanted to know, didn't have a chance to press and present this question today to Dave Canales, is if he at any point needs to make a change at quarterback, what is that process like? Is that something that he has to include owner David Tepper in and get his approval, or is it something that has been given power to Dan and Dave to collaborate and decide? But I don't have that answer for you, but that's just a question that I thought about from that, and that I'd like to get to Dave when I get the chance to. So that was really all that you were able to get out of Dave Canales' press conference. We also then had the chance to talk with the quarterback that didn't have his best performance this past weekend. That quarterback would be one Bryce Young. And I said that I saw him this training camp running a little bit more than before. And he actually did run a decent amount this past Sunday against the Saints. And he spoke on the fact on why he did run a little bit more this past Sunday versus the Saints.
Yeah, it's something that we talked about as far as just being able to take what the defense gives. And, at the end of the day, we want to have positive plays. We want to be efficient. We want to do what's best for our team. And, some of the stuff we've talked about, if the best option is running and going downfield, then, that's what it is. It's not about, I appreciate that from our coaching staff. It's not about the ego of it has to work out this way or it has to be, they just want what's best for a team. So, I'm going to continue to do all that I can to try to work to put ourselves in the best situation, and that'll be the mindset.
All right, so there you have it. Bryce talking about the more running that he's been doing, and basically it wasn't something that was so much premeditated, but something that has just been allowed to say, hey, again, he has that clock that Canales wants to put him on, 2.7 seconds, and then something needs to be happening. One of those things that could happen and that has happened is Bryce going ahead and taking off, running with the ball. Now, Bryce had a lot of success out in Alabama, a lot of success, and now in not even a quarter, basically 1 year of being in the NFL, this guy has lost more games than he probably has his entire football life. So you got to wonder about his mental. How does he deal with all these losses that are mounting up for him as a quarterback?
Yeah, honestly, personally, I draw my faith from God. So, I trust in Him through everything. I know everything happens for a reason, and everything is going to happen how He wants it to. So, I draw my faith from Him, and I also draw my faith from my teammates. We come in every single day and want to be better and work, and we're able to lean on each other, and we all want the same things. I'm super grateful for my teammates and coaching staff, and just when you're in around a group of people that want it and are willing to work for it. The outside world is the outside world, but for us, I'm grateful to be in this environment and being able to lean on lean on my brothers, us to lean on each other within the building is something that we really depend on.
So there you have it. How does Bryce do it? Well, he leaves it up to a higher power in terms of staying confident and persevering through such a challenge as a 2-15 season and now an 0-1 to start with 2 turnovers. Passer rating, I think it was around 35. That wasn't too good. But yeah, and higher power is where he takes his source to continue to march out there week after week, giving it his best. And one more thing that I'm going to leave you with, and before I go, let me say this. Shaked, thank you for being a member. Really, really appreciate it. Dom34 as well. I see you're on here. A few other people that are on here. Not able to get to questions today. I know typically we are, but I appreciate you guys leaving those comments and questions. Just unfortunately not able to get to them today, but I promise most videos, you guys know, 9 times out of 10, you can say something and I'm going to comment. But let's end on this. Dave Canales, Mr. Energetic, Mr. Peppy. Well, what is it like being coached by a guy that has so much freaking positivity about everything? Here's Bryce discussing that.
Yeah, it's super necessary and good for us. Just for him being the coach of the team, just someone, he's been very consistent, steady throughout his entire time here. And obviously tough day on Sunday for him to be the same way. I think it just brings us back to earth. Back in the locker room, and then back Monday, and definitely now, just knowing that again, there's stuff that we clean up and we get better at, just like we would have if it was a good game or a bad game. And then, what can we do today to get better? And, that being his message and him being consistent in it is something that I think is great for us as a team.
So he likes it. Consistency. Consistency is key. You've heard that. He's always up. He's not here, not there. Also talked about his first game with Canales being in the headset and how it was. Said that one of the things that he can certainly appreciate is the same tone that he was calling plays during that, I won't say first series, but one play of the first series is the same calm tone that you heard throughout the game into when Bryce was pulled very late in the fourth quarter. So we're halfway through it. We got a couple more days to prepare for the Chargers that are being here for that home opener on Sunday. I'm excited about it. I'm going to continue to bring you all the latest news about this Carolina Panthers team as they prepare to take on that team. If you haven't done so, please consider doing so. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. Help us grow. The more we grow, the more that we can do. Also, thanks again to our member, Shaked. I see you out here. Became a member. I appreciate you. For any that are interested in supporting independent media, that link is in the description for you to do so. For Charlotte Vibe, I'm Chris Jenkins.